Hoo-hoo, I have a doozy for you all today. A doozy. And I don't use the word doozy lightly. I'm fired up. This conversation was great. I didn't bring a note into the conversation, but I just chatted for the better part of an hour with Bianca and Kyle. They run Oak and Iron Photos. They do weddings. They do corporate work. I don't even know how to explain the kind of photos that these two make. You just have to go over to their profile and see the work that they do. They combine double exposures and geometric shapes and all kinds of just funky, awesome, creative, beautiful art in their work. And they're just so inspiring. Like, I'm fired up to go shoot a wedding because I just hung out with these guys for an hour. They're so on fire for what they're doing. They kind of help me just like spark that creativity and to get excited and get out of that rut. And honestly, I'm blown away by the conversation. I cannot wait for you to see it, hear it, watch it. Before we jump in, I'm going to tell you real quick about our friends over at MusicBed. If you don't know, MusicBed is the best place to license music for your films, whether they're weddings or corporate. And if you head over to the show notes, I've got a 14-day free trial for you where you can download a few songs, check it out. The best music on the internet for you to license. I've been exclusively using MusicBed for over a decade now, and you're crazy if you don't go over and grab that free trial. With that, let's hop into this week's episode with Bianca and Kyle of Oak and Iron Photos.
Can you hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh my gosh. My day just got so good. I was looking through your stuff today and I'm like, I would expect nothing less than this to be on the podcast. Okay, you got to tell me, how do you guys decide this is what we're doing today for the outfit? If you're not watching this online, I'm sorry, you're missing out. But
I think we're always committing to a bit, and right now it's doing corpse paint.
Yeah.
We've just been doing this for the last 2 weeks for some reason. It's made doing these podcasts a lot easier on our end.
yeah.
And we just get hyped up and ready to go. And also, to zhuzh your video up a little bit too. So it's just, you can use and abuse us right now, You
I
clip
can.
it.
I'm trying to think of what clips I want you to say so I can make sure that the internet uses them. What hot takes? Give me a couple of hot takes that you have as wedding photographers, just to start out, and then we'll get into it. The hottest hot take. What do you have?
Oh, hot takes. Oh man, we're so not hot take people.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Okay. Well, then I got nothing.
Oh, you know what? You know what I will say? Because we said it earlier, we're actually doing the opposite. Everyone says that personality matters so much. I actually think that your work should be so good that your personality is irrelevant.
Okay, we'll start with that.
So man, you're gonna throw us right into the damn bonfire, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be great. People are gonna hate that. No, I'm just kidding. Well, nice to officially meet the two of you. Tell me a little bit about you guys. Where are you based? How long you been doing this? Let's get to know each other a little bit. If you're watching, if you're listening, they're both wearing luxury tuxedo and ball gown outfits. So they're just dressed to the nines if you're only listening on audio. And if you're watching on video, you know that I'm lying. But back to the question. We got Bianca and Kyle Thompson. Who are you? What's your brand? Just give us a little background on the two of you.
We are Oak and Iron Photography. We've been at this whole wedding and portrait photography for better part of 9 years, coming on 10. Started our company in 2016. We, just like anyone, we just kind of got thrown into this by a neighbor who was like, hey, I need you to do wedding photography for us. And we did it, and then slowly kind of grew to really enjoy this. Very early on, we started to kind of pave our own path. I guess most people nowadays would know us more for kind of going against the grain a little bit and kind of bending the rules of what traditional wedding photography is, and just kind of putting our own little offbeat approach to this whole thing. Yeah, that's pretty much. There's so much I could say.
Where are you guys based?
So we're based in Central Florida.
Yeah.
We're over by
That's
Cocoa
right.
Beach area.
Yeah.
We're married. We were married right around the time that we actually started our business.
Yeah.
A little bit after when we had started, we got married, or before.
Yeah.
So we started this when we were just dating.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
just BFGF,
Mhm,
signed an
mhm.
LLC and got that whole thing going. We were just like, nah, I feel like this is going to be something that we just keep going. And then we were on a work trip. Actually, we were photographing a wedding in Boston, right? Isn't that
When?
why we were there?
For what? Oh, when you.
When I proposed,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
No.
were there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
were
were
there
there
for a wedding.
photographing.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
totally forgot about that.
we had like a wedding in I think it was Plymouth,
Yeah.
right? By
Something
Plymouth
like that.
Rock.
Yeah.
Dude, Plymouth Rock, by the way, overrated. It's a
Very.
pebble. It's
It's so
not.
small.
You would assume it'd be a boulder or something of like magnitude.
Still a big rock, but
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
the hot
it's
take that I needed. That's the cut right there. We did it. That's all the
yeah.
time we have today, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We have
what
Bianca
really
and
matters.
Kyle.
Don't visit Plymouth
Yeah.
Rock.
Don't go to Plymouth Rock. What's make some people mad over in that part of the country. Okay, so you do go against the grain. Your photos are stupid in a good way. I've been kind of following along just from aside for a little while. I had Josh Huggett on the podcast the other day, and saw he posted about you guys and was like, oh yeah, I've been following these guys, and just kind of was like, I got to at least try to reach out and see if they would, they're kind of famous. They're kind of a big deal. They might come over here to little John's corner of the world. But tell me about, so you were like early or October, late in part of 2016, I think I saw on your site, you really got going. That's coming up on what, 9-10 years next year. What's changed since you guys started? Or have you always been completely leaning into kind of the weird, the different, the uniqueness, or what's changed in the last 10 years for you guys?
I think probably the extremity at which we've taken this, because we started, we just kind of dabbled. Every gig, we always tried to throw in something just to mix it up. We'd get the client's shot list done, and we always have been pretty good about moving very efficiently. I don't know if that's just because we enjoy the pressure or we like getting a lot done in a little bit of time. College days where you're just cramming everything the night before instead of like working on it 2 months before when you're supposed to. But we just get a lot done. So we found that we were just like, we had time to kind of play around with some stuff. Early days, it probably started before double exposures, which is like one of our big passions, is kind of like playing around with those. I think we were just kind of like a lot of people that were, I guess, kind of taking the more creative approach where, you were using some prisms and throwing that in front of your lens for a little bit, doing some ring of fires here and there. I mean, we were really limited by technology as well.
Yeah.
Back when we had started this, especially with the doubles, our cameras didn't have live view. So we were just shooting all of these things blind like you would on film. So it was a lot of just like pray and spray. I hope this works. Like there's not many times to do this over. So we found certain techniques that just worked and we were like, okay, cool. But then just over time, we were just like, it was, very slow buildup.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that we were anywhere where we're at now up until about 2 or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And even this last year, we've kind of just gone,
Full send.
yeah, full send on like the end of the spectrum of creativity. And I don't know. I just feel like we've kind of gotten past the point. Like, I'll tell you this. I don't know why people are probably going to hate me. They said, I just like hate the word creative because I feel like it can mean anything. Like it is very generalized. Someone might just like, whatever, have a lollipop and they're like, I'm being creative. And like, yeah, that is true. So we've been kind of lately saying we like to make interesting photographs. Things that when you see, you're just kind of more fascinated by. Some of the stuff, like I said, we kind of go against what traditional photography would tell you. And that's kind of like, don't make it too busy. Simplify your storytelling. And we were like,
Nah.
yeah, but what happens if you muck this whole thing up and make it crazy and tell like if one picture is worth 1,000 words, then using 3 pictures combined or 4 is worth 1,000,000 words. So we want to just like hammer home more of an interesting story for our clients. Lately, we've been doing these things that we like to coin as like photo quilting. Come to find out, it is a real thing, like a technique on film, which we did not know, which is just called film quilting.
Yeah.
Really fascinating process. But We just started kind of playing around with that because honestly, we were just really limited on time
Yeah.
with portraits during weddings specifically. Sometimes you'd have 15 minutes and you're like, how can we make the most out of this while still getting traditional photos for the clients and then also having like essentially a counter album of just crazy,
Mhm.
trippy imagery. So, more so on our client side of things is we just like to future proof their photos.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
you might be into the super trippy stuff now, but you're still going to get those cornerstone photos that it's still based in, the traditions of photography. And I guess that's why, like, lately we've kind of been calling our style, we've always struggled with this because we're like, it's not really editorial. It's definitely not documentary, although we are like documentary heavy with candids. But we kind of found that the term like neo traditional really hammered in what we do because even the crazy stuff you can still see it is like soaked in tradition.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the stuff, the concepts that we do, people always ask like, it's like, how do you get the final results to do these certain things? It's as far as the post-production, dude, it's blending and layering just like
Mhm.
anything else.
It's
And
just a
then
lot of effort for like you got to figure things out and see if things look good and if they don't look good together. And sometimes it's too busy, sometimes it's not busy enough. So it's definitely like a balancing act
yeah.
with all that too.
And then you still need to be solid in your compositions.
Yeah.
You still really need to focus on lighting because like everything can change how to make a photo like really, really interesting,
Mhm.
especially
Mhm.
when you start diving into the world of like double exposures. I mean, dude, there's just so many ways that you can go about that process. Like right now we're super into like deep shadow work with like very nice highlights and like how we can manipulate texture and manipulate scope and scale while still like making just like really interesting things to look at for our clients. Because a
Mhm.
lot of our clients would say like, and still do, like it's like one of their main things of coming to us is like, I want interesting photos for the wall. Like I want stuff that could, if a guest comes over, they don't even know that it's a wedding photo sometimes. That's why we like those like tree doubles to kind of add a little bit of like anonymity to their stuff. So even on their side of things, it's not like if they do like a gallery wall, you don't have like 1,000 photos of just your
They
face
don't look too
staring
vain.
at, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, it kind of like mixes things up a little bit and it's like definitely just more, like I said, interesting.
Before we move forward in this episode, I want to tell you about brideandgroom.video. Brideandgroom.video is an editing house for wedding filmmakers to edit your films for you. You upload your footage, they edit it. I've been working with brideandgroom.video now for about a year, and I'm loving every single edit that they're putting out for me. They do my highlight films, my feature films. My favorite thing is just how amazing they are at communicating. They keep me up to date. They make it easy. Their system makes it easy for me to download my final films and save me that precious time that I need. So head over to the show notes and check out brideandgroom.video today. Now back into the show. Yeah, it's so fun to watch, just even hearing by just saying what's changed for you guys, and that's what you guys just gave me there. That's gold. And I think my story, I've been doing weddings since 2007. I started as a wedding filmmaker, did 600 video weddings. I added photo last year. I shifted focus. And 2018 until just this year, I was running a podcast called How to Film Weddings, teaching people wedding filmmaking, and I shifted my focus and I wanted to expand to not only talk to videographers, but photographers, planners, the wedding industry. And it's always so interesting to hear different people's takes on different things, because I would probably argue with your hot take on like the uniqueness of you guys that isn't what matters. I mean, your photos being unique is you, and then what you're doing, nobody else is going to create the kinds of photos that you're creating. Your website, your Instagram, your everything is freaking bananas how cool it is and how interesting it is, and that's like unique. And it's like I would love to have a photo of my wedding like that hanging on my wall. It'd be incredible, especially like in my office or in but at the same time I would want the traditional, like, oh, I definitely want the shot with my grandma, and it doesn't need to be like a crazy double exposure with
Mhm.
Mamaw. It's just like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
so tell me how you guys balance this, because obviously the creativity, the child in all of us, it's like, let's lean all the way into that. But you have clients that also, we're in a wedding situation. So how do you guys kind of practically balance that?
I mean, I think it's just like any good relationship. I think it's just like so much communication
Yeah.
and like listening to the people that you're photographing. Because
Uh-huh.
there's guests where we have time and, you're during cocktail hour, they're like, hey, we want a, quick little sideline photo of them just like enjoying a cocktail or whatever. And, we'll kind of vibe it out. We try to talk to everyone as well because we're going to spend, 6 to 8 hours, 10 hours with them. So we're just like to gab with everybody. And you'll kind of learn pretty quick if you can ask a certain person's like, hey, do you want to like do something a little bit more wild? I mean, we are nervous to like bring up our portfolio. I'll just like whip up Instagram being like, it'll be something like this. And, if they're into it, they're into it. If they're not, they're not. I think a lot of it also is like, we're still so like candid heavy,
Mhm.
and like that still is and always will be the most important things.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at our like Instagram or our website, until you go to like the galleries, we do like to be very forward on the more interesting photos because I think that's what really stands out. And we've always said, like, I feel like being photographers, like, it's expected that we are good. There's
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
standard that you just need to be good at candids. Like you need to be able to not even like fly on the wall, just like know how to captivate emotions. That's like bare minimum. I feel like you need to be like a good wedding photographer. And so we've just kind of always carried that out. And I don't know if it's just because like we're natural rebels or whatever it is, but we like to just like mix things up a little bit. And if we are presented with those opportunities, we will. But also, like, we're very aware that like there is a point of diminishing returns. It's like we always kind of ask our clients, like, how wild would you like us to go? Like, we'll literally say, like, percentage wise, do you
Mhm.
Mhm.
want 50-50? Do you want to go 80-20? And a lot of people are just like, yeah, I want like 15-20% wild, crazy stuff. And the rest can be super classic just because I want you to just capture the moment, even if it's very mundane stuff. Like we always like to kind of like kill our ego every few months of just like reminding ourselves like what this job really is.
Mhm.
And so like we aren't too good to photograph just people talking at a table. Like those
Mhm.
are still those can sometimes and very often are the photos that they'll share.
Yeah.
Like obviously people are sharing and loving like the artsy photos,
Yeah.
but just like anyone knows, like you could have your top 5 favorite photos from a wedding, and then a client might share and probably will share entirely different photos. And you're like, interesting, like I never would have suspected like that was your favorite photo. And very often it's like just like a nice little genuine moment that you're just like, yeah, we don't know the relationships of everyone there. Like we don't know if that uncle and that cousin have talked to each other in the last 6 years. So we snap everything. Like we are not afraid to overshoot because we've always said, like, I don't want to keep people's memories on our hard
Yeah.
drive. So we go nuts, especially with the two of us, just because we're kind of on the point now where we're very synced up when we need to do the more involved concepts, but
Yeah.
we're not even looking at each other's stuff until we're done through color correction. Like we're color correcting our own photos and then
Oh,
we'll
cool.
kind of bring it together at the end. And it's always a pleasant surprise because you're just like, oh man, this really, really tells the story. Like
Yeah.
it's nice kind of not knowing what each other's getting because I think it forces both of us to just go full send every
Yeah.
time instead of being like, she's getting that, so I don't have to, or
Mhm.
I'm getting something, so B doesn't have to worry about it. Now, that's not everything, but when it comes to like the candid stuff, we're just
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, or when we're culling through photos, it's like, man, how many different photos did you get of, the bride hugging X, Y, and Z person? And we're like, all right, well, we have 25 of the same photo, so we can probably cut these down a little bit.
Yeah.
Want too many hugs right now.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have, like, again, it's never been a problem of, did you get this? And we missed a moment. It's always been like, you gave a lot. Like this, I'm so glad, because there's even the difference of like someone smiling versus someone looking more stoic. Again, kind of going back to like future proofing, you know, like some of our clients like love the American Gothic, just kind of stoic look, but they celebrating their 5-year anniversary and they're like, but you know what? I'm a little bit more smiley now, you know, like they've, or vice versa. So I think it's just like I said, you gotta check the ego to the door sometimes. And
Yeah.
even though people are like, I love your eye and the artistic vision, still being like, yeah, but we're still very much like solid at the Candids, because you
Yeah.
just like have to be.
I was going to say, we kind of like root everything in a foundation of traditional, which is kind of how we were explaining earlier, where everything does stem from some sort of traditional way of photographing a wedding, because that is what it is, a wedding. It is somebody's memory. So we have to remember that. But then like with the more creative stuff, the more interesting photos that we take, we've kind of made it into like almost like a little bit of a system for ourselves, where there are certain elements that we both know that we want to get for certain concepts that we're coming up with, or we have an idea and we're talking about it on the day of, and we're like, okay, grab that and I'll grab this, and then we'll mash them together later on or whatever. So there is a little bit of like the communication between the two of us has grown exponentially over the years when it comes to those concepts, just because we've kind of been put into that position where like we don't have an hour to do photos every single time. So like if you can bust out some of these things while I'm doing this thing, perfect. And then later on we'll kind of just make it all happen in post, which is another reason why we do a lot of things in post. Some things we do in camera, but it does take a lot of time out of the day. And again, going back to that, like, this is a wedding. We want you guys to enjoy it. We don't want to, make it feel like an endless photo shoot type of deal. So, but we still get like cool stuff.
And I think that's like one thing that's also grown a lot with our business is like delivery time. Like I just remember when we first, and just kind of like being like purists and now like letting go of all that stuff, because like we were so obsessed with like the fastest delivery time possible. That's why we're doing all of these effects in camera, so that it's practical and it's quick and it requires nothing. And there got to a point when we noticed, okay, our clients actually are patient, and like they might not need their stuff in 2 weeks. Like they are willing to wait. And we found that the more wild we went with concepts, the longer they were willing to wait, and the more that they were just excited for the process of watching what we got and turning it into what they get.
Yeah.
So it was like, now people are like incredibly lenient, which gives us more breathing room to being like, it might be a week longer than we anticipated, but like that's only because there's like 4 concepts that we're working on, and this does take time, because it's like making a puzzle. Like you're literally carving the pieces out later and then re-scrambling them to see how they can fit in a different way.
Yeah.
So like some things we might shoot for intentionally, and then just whatever, literally flipping it to the opposite angle. And you're like, well, this is a different photo. This is a different story altogether. Let's kind of lean harder into this. And it was mainly because, again, we just had like no time. It was just like consistently had not much time for portraits. And we were like, we really do want to like push ourselves. Like we've always said, even from like the very beginning, like I want our clients to like use us up.
Yeah.
Like I want to give them everything that we're capable of. I hate when days go and we're like, oh, but we had so much more to give. And so like, I don't care. We don't care about being sore. We don't care if we have to do like ridiculous things, like managing different personalities. I was like, use us. Like we are here for you. This is a service as much as it's an artistic job, we are still just as much a service as the caterer. We are just the same service as a freaking pizza delivery driver. Like, we are service people. It's great that we get to do it through a beautiful medium that's really fun to do, but we are still here to serve our clients. And that's like just kind of really always in the forefront. But also, with that being said, it wasn't until like year 6 that we realized it's only photographers that cared that we were doing stuff in camera. The
Mhm.
client literally doesn't care. They why would they care? They just care that it looks great, that it's a nice moment, that it's color corrected the way that you show on your website and in your portfolio, and that it's consistent with what you've had talked about. But like, letting go of that, of like, no, the doubles just, they need to be there, because we just found that like they could be so much better sometimes. Like,
Mhm.
and we don't even do them perfectly. Like, we will deliberately still kind of mess with them so that they're not perfect. Like, we don't want them to be perfect, because that's just kind of like a kickback to like double exposures on film. Like, we'd love when there's a little bit of ghostiness and a little bit of decontrast to the photos. When they're too good, it kind of reminds me of like how like the HDR photos were. You're like, whoa,
Mhm.
this is too crunchy. I was like, we like a little bit of soft. You know, it's like a good sandwich. It's all about the textures and the
I
layers
knew
and
we would
the
get into sandwiches.
it always comes back to
Everything goes back
sandwiches.
to sandwiches. Yeah.
But but it's true. You know what I mean? You need those layers to be like
Yeah.
really nice and cohesive, and know where the crunchy layers are, and then where the nice soft pillowy textures need to be.
Hmm.
You know how much I love shooting weddings, but you know what I don't love? Wasting hours culling and editing. That is why I use Imagine.ai. It's literally learned my style. It culls my photos, edits them, and even opens them in Lightroom with the sliders exactly where I'd want them. And now they're in beta for video color grading, which is an absolute game changer. Stop wasting time and get back to doing what you love. Check the show notes to grab 1,500 free edits today. That's incredible. I love everything you just said. And I don't know what to say to the listeners besides like they just have to go see the photos that were, like even on your Instagram at Oak and Iron Photo, I think is what it was that uh, you've got a huge following, but it's got to be more than just like the big following. I mean, that's great. I mean, that probably gives you like, okay, we're credible, we're good. But like you can tell that each of these photos have had to take hours to make. How do you like how do you balance that? Like you've got your traditional stuff, you're knocking those things out. You don't want them to be too crunchy, you don't want them to be, you want to give a great album. Like is once you finish that, are you then like throwing photos over into another bucket saying these are the ones that we could really go crazy on, or are you knowing from the like just I want to dig inside the brains of what is going on here because it's like I'm very intrigued, of course, but like, do you take the time on the day before the day, have concepts that you bring in, or do you kind of get inspired, a mix of the two? Like, what does the process look like? That's like 1,000 questions. Sorry, I'm just excited. But like, what does the process look like for you to be able to create what we're seeing on your feed? How long does it take? Who's doing what? Like, kind of practically break it down for me of how an idea begins all the way until here's a final product.
I think it's like 50-50. Like,
Yeah.
we show up with a handful of concepts that we know will definitely work.
And that we can do not anywhere, but most places that are kind of just like the bangers. Everybody likes them, good to go,
Yeah,
and they're super fun.
like recently we've been really into doing like using couples vows as textures for doubles. Just because like not everyone, they'll put it in a box and then they forget about it, and then it's just gone for 10 years and put into storage. I was like, well, it's a nice way to preserve those without just being pictures of vows. So now it's interesting and all that stuff. So things like that we will plan ahead because we know they'll be present. But there's a lot of things that even if you look at a venue's website, if you've never been there or whatever, things are subject to change. Lighting is never the same day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. So
Yeah.
we love like jazz improving a lot. I feel like the best things from our work have come solely from riffing, and that riff can come from anything. It
Yeah.
could be because there's a cool texture, it could be because there's interesting light going on, it could be because we talked about an album from a movie or a band that we saw with the client. Literally anything can kind of like spark an interest. Sometimes it's the client that will bring a concept and they're like, it would be cool to utilize X, Y, and Z element. And we're just kind of like, we said we've kind of done like time under tension for the last 9 years, that we just are like ready to go. I feel like, I think it was Jake Phelps, one of the writers for Thrasher magazine, who RIP. But he said one thing, and it's always stuck with me, and it is always have an answer. What do you want to eat? Pizza. What do you want to listen to? Minor Threat. Like, have an answer. Having an answer instantly makes you also seem more confident.
Mhm.
It makes you more sure of yourself, even if it's something as stupid as, what do you want to eat? Chicken wings. Like, don't even think about it. It doesn't even matter if you want that right now, but having an answer, it's just like, for the client, it makes it seem like you're definitely sure of yourself. But we always say it's based off of things that we know we can provide and execute. And so it's just like, it's one of those things like, you gotta be able to riff when
Yeah.
you go towards this stuff. And it's a lot of give and take with planning, because we used to really scope venues, and we are for certain things. Usually it's for shapes, not so much lighting. So we're looking for squares and things that we can make into trapezoids and octagons and stuff like that. But sometimes nothing more and nothing less, because a lot of other things are subject to change.
Yeah.
So I would hate, and it's happened so many times where you're like, this spot is so sick. We're going to do these 5 concepts here, and then had no idea that whatever, the caterer was going to park a trailer there. And you're like, well, that spot was gone. So all my concepts are gone. And so we just kind of like putting that last minute pressure on ourselves to be able to just kind of like riff and then
Yeah.
keep the client going and not feeling like we're like umming and ahhing of like, I don't know what to do. Cause then that makes them feel unsure of themselves and us. And we can really feel that vibe of like, okay, we're losing them here. So we were just like, no, we need to be able to kind of like hone this to
Yeah.
any situation possible.
And then as far as like on post on that side too, like when we're editing, we do have concepts, like he said, like we shoot for specific things sometimes, but sometimes there are like, we'll just be messing around in Photoshop and I'll be like, oh, does this look cool? And he'll be, oh, does this look cool? Like it'll just be like a really cool like brainstorm in the moment. Something we weren't even thinking that would be like would work in post ends up working way cooler than what we had anticipated it would in a different way. Flipping it to a different side, you know what I mean? So like there's a ton of different steps to the process and it's not always the same. But we do still have like a skeleton, for lack of a better term, underneath it all of like, we know what textures, or we know we have to get textures. We know we have to get, pictures of certain specific things like the vows or, hand photos or just heads.
Certain silhouettes.
Yeah, like we know specific things that if, these are elements that we have pulled together really successfully, made imagery that we really love. We're fine with messing around with them even more to further it in post, but we do know we can still take those key elements and attach them to things and know it's going to be successful. So within that, I mean, but that's been like over the course of years at this point, building that list of things to just kind of knock off and knowing and being confident that, oh, I get a picture of the hands, I can throw it up in the sky with them on, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of different like planning, but again, like you said, like also riffing is a huge part of everything, and being like comfortable with riffing and knowing that certain things are going to work, maybe they won't, that's okay too.
And even if
Mhm.
it's like a concept that we're going into that will be more experimental, going back to we're still communicating with the client
Yeah.
of like, would you mind if we riffed real quick for this one concept? It's only going to take 2 seconds. Literally don't know if this is going to work. So don't burn
Mhm.
this into your memory of like, hold on to this.
Yeah.
And like literally every single time they're like, yeah, 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 fine. Like we've already got our shot list done. And I mean, we just got to the point now where in the last year, like people are almost exclusively sending our work as reference photos of things that they want.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just like, I don't know where to look for this like, at all. So they're
Yeah.
like, they'll just send us stuff of our portfolio of like, I don't want you to literally replicate this, but I would love a variation of this that reflects our personality.
And honestly, at this point, I mean, we've had years of doing this, and I don't think I could replicate anything verbatim with a different person. Like, it is
Right.
just always just, it can change based on the lighting. It can change based on a position that we just turn in the opposite direction in person. It like can change the whole imagery. So,
I mean, couples being different heights
yeah,
changes compositions more than anyone could ever imagine. You know, if you're just like being like, well, unfortunately, you're 8 inches different in height. So this concept literally does not work anymore.
Right.
Or this texture that we were going to use, and now it doesn't. We literally just delivered a wedding where had taken this texture. I think it was like a trunk, like a like a treasure trunk that was in the hotel room, and it was cool, and it was like all metally and had like jewels in it, but it was so symmetrical, and the couple had a major height difference, so it just
that
made it
middle point did not land
just didn't
nice
line up,
where
and
we
we are just
wanted
like,
it to.
whatever. But there's nothing stopping us, and we put it into like a texture library that sometimes we'll whip out for like later things of being like,
Mhm.
one day this will work and it will look sick.
Yeah.
And that allows us
Yeah.
also to like kind of always go to that like library that we've built up over years, and like we always have. We're like a carrot top. There's always something in the trunk to whip up.
Uh-huh. It's so interesting and refreshing, I think is the word I'm getting, to like see you completely lean into the art. And I haven't seen anybody do this in a while that leans so heavy into the creativity, but also is well grounded in the self-awareness of where they are, and they don't have a huge attitude, or they don't, the ego isn't big, and you're there to serve. You're like, I'm just as even as the, the pizza delivery guy. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're creating very unique, beautiful pieces of art that only you, the artist, could paint. Like, nobody else is like, people, I'm sure, are trying to replicate what you're doing. And what I think is beautiful about what you're doing is it's just like obviously just seeping out of you. It's exactly who you are put onto the canvas. And I think even if you're not going to do anything like the two of, like Bianca and Kyle are doing, it's like, what can you do to like pour yourself out so that you do have nothing left at the end of the day? Like, what does that look like for you? What does that look like creatively for you if you're listening? And to me, I'm inspired. It's like, oh man, I could probably give it a little bit more. You get it kind of in your rut. You get kind of in your, it's like, okay, I'm coming to a wedding. I'm doing my thing. Like, I'll do this shot. That's kind of in my back pocket. I know they'll like that. I know. Um, but like, spending that extra, like getting in that mindset, like even looking for, your proverbial like carrot top trunk for later. You're just like always looking for textures, always looking for things. You're mentioning like shapes or light coming in, or just architecture, whatever it is. If you're looking for it, it's like almost like you're in the Stranger Things, like the Upside Down. It's like it's right there the whole time, but it's like you didn't even. You start like kind of seeing into this other world of like, that is super rad. I need to go get this, and it, I'm sure, sparks the creativity where it's just like, this doesn't even feel like work. I mean, obviously it's hard work, but it's the enjoyable thing that then attracts more of your people. More people are saying, oh, this is what I want. And they come to you and say, I love everything about you guys. I also love eating deli sandwiches. I also love this. They know all these things about you. And so, I guess like my last little tidbit on that is just about how much time do you, like, I know it's different for every photo, but you do the gallery. I mean, I know everybody spends a different time making like just an awesome wedding gallery. Is at that point you kind of finish up and say, okay, I'm gonna take an extra week and we're gonna go through this gallery and we're gonna create 5 banger images from this wedding, or 20 or 10 or 2, or like, do you have any kind of parameters to keep yourself from just going, whoa, we went off into the abyss and we didn't come back for 3 months and now we've got this crazy backlog of edits to do? What does that kind of look like for you guys?
It literally gets like that sometimes.
we
But
get
Yeah, I
that.
thought so.
I'll say the most things
Come
get like
back.
slowed up
Yeah.
will literally be like maybe like 4 or 5 days will get like lost in certain concepts.
Mhm.
But it's usually nothing too extensive. Again, usually it's more last minute things that like we're running into just like a technical problem, and sometimes those solutions just need to like step away from the project for a second. We're not exclusively wedding photographers, so we are photographing families and just like a bunch of other portrait sessions. So sometimes we'll just like step away for a second, work on something else, and then go back to it. Cause like this just needs like 1 or 2 more days, but we need to not look at this for a second. Maybe this next session that we're working on where we continued that concept, because there's some things that we just can't let go. We're like, there's something else to this that we're not unfolding yet. And we just need to dig a little bit further. And then sometimes that will be the solution that we were looking for the project that we had like put on hold for a day. Like we always say, like, if the work isn't being productive, stop for a second. Because I'm sure we've all been editing with tired eyes, and then you look at it the next morning and you're like, whoa, what was going on here? I need to redo like 150 photos because these are not what it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's so some things get delayed a little bit. It's never anything too crazy. But there's definitely been times where we've been working on like one photo concept for like a day and a half, 2 days of just like not like just staring at that thing altogether, but we just keep going back to it of like, you're not done yet, and we're not willing to give up on this because we know there is a really good final result. It's just not showing itself yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's very inspiring. So for people out there that like, are interested in taking their creativity to a new level, they've maybe gotten in a rut, they maybe, they're newer, or they've just kind of got their thing that they do. Did you have any advice on like what to do? Like, hey, I've got a wedding this weekend. What are some tangible things I could maybe start to look for, or start to take photos of, video of, whatever, to like start to get that rolling? Like, obviously, if somebody is traditional and they want to add things that are a little more creative, they're not going to just change their whole portfolio, but you could start practicing or doing new things at weddings. Do you have, if you were just giving advice on someone wanting to take their creativity to the next level, what would you say to them?
I mean, I don't even think it's a specific, like, look for this texture or this shape or color or whatever. I think it's that you need to lean into your general curiosity.
Yeah. I was literally going to
Like,
say the
I
same
think
thing.
you, like, sometimes we like to just, we always call ourselves idiots, but I mean, we're smart, but I think you kind of have a natural kind of like whimsy when you let go of everything that you do know and you take it as just a new day with new things to look at, and just like you're staying curious. Because if you're not staying curious and you're not staying hungry in this, you are gonna get burnt out. And we combat burnout by just staying consistently curious
Yep.
and endlessly hungry for what this can be. I feel like a lot of people just like will say, I've plateaued on my creativity. This is what it is. This is all my clients want. This is all people need. And that will be it. And then they're bored in 5 years and they're no longer doing this. We've seen too many people, incredibly talented photographers, who have come and gone because they just like were just like, no, this is the threshold.
Yeah.
And we're just like, who says who? Like we could make this as crazy as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And I just think like if you're just hungry for it and you're not too good for a concept, like even if it's like an easy gimmicky thing, go for it. Like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the client is going to respond to it. They might love it, and if they don't like it, then they don't need to download it. Like it's as simple as that. Like, but you do need to stay endlessly curious. And I think that just will end up bleeding into other aspects of your life. We ourselves are like natural grumps. We are grumpy about everything. And so it's like our way of being like, no, we have one shot at this life. We have one shot at now. Even like traveling for weddings, you can be like, I hate waking up early for flights, and I hate getting rental cars and figuring out new parking in places and where the hell do we eat. And we're like, these are amazing problems to have. And like, it's never going to be as good as it is right now. And obviously hopefully people listening out there are booking out a year in advance or whatever, and they have those long-term bookings, and it's so easy to forget about the now because we're always thinking a year, 2 years ahead, that we're like, no, but right now is so precious. This is so cool now. It's never going to be as good now. Like the end result, there is no end result.
Yeah.
We've always said that as much as we're photographers, we have this mindset of more of like being farmers.
Yeah.
This is just a lifestyle. Like we edit endless hours because we want to. This is what we do. We like the travel. We like the uncertainty of every week of what is going to happen. I think that's what we like about marketing. Like you never know. Like literally we're in a time right now of discovery where one video can change your career.
Yep.
And it's important that if things like that do come into place and boom, your year is set. Now you got everything that you wanted. If you want to travel, now you're traveling for most of your gigs of the year and all this stuff. But like, you just have to keep going
Yeah.
with it.
I was also going to mention too, something we've been doing a lot is leaning into our free will. I think leaning into free will is a very important thing to do in life because you only get one shot at it. And I feel like even with photography, like we put up all these weird rules for what? You know what I mean? Like you can do these things that there's no like panel of, overlord photographers who are like, no, you can't do that. That's not correct. Da, 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 da. And if anybody says it on the internet, okay, cool. Internet's full of people who are going to say one thing and the other thing, and you have a million opinions running around. More so, the thing is like, leaning into your free will, doing what makes you happy, staying curious, like those are really important aspects to like remember when you're trying to like really bust out of the like traditional like chokehold that is the wedding world, the wedding industry. And just reminding yourself that like, no, I have free will. I can literally take this photo, and if it doesn't come out, whatever. If it does come out, cool. I just like set myself ahead. So you're never going to get that like opportunity to progress if you don't jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
You just should jump on it.
Wow. You guys are good at this.
Thanks. I was gonna say you're great. So
well, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I could sit here for another couple of hours chatting. I am running out of time, but I want to give you guys just an opportunity. If there's anything else you want to make sure that the audience knows, and where people can find you, connect with you, that sort of thing. Any final kind of wrap up thoughts, comments about all this, and then where can people find you?
I just think, I think just kind of like touching back on being creative and creativity. It's something that I tell a lot of people that we talk to on the regular who will always ask us, like, when are you going to do a class? Why don't you do workshops? And I tell everyone the exact same thing. I was like, the reason we don't is because learning how to be creative is the process.
it's fun.
Learning what sets your soul on fire. Like there's going to be times where it's important that you look at what's going on in the industry and obviously there's a certain standard that is set and making sure that you're informed. but that doesn't have to be it. And learning how to be creative will set you up for success more than anything. Because if we were to tell someone how we are creative,
Mm-hmm.
that might stifle someone's approach, because they could have 180% on the other side, a different solution, a different process to get the same result that we're getting. And I would hate to stifle someone in doing that. So it's like, learn how to, like, just do anything, like, it doesn't even need to be photography at the time. Like, go make a song, go make a new food dish, like something that just might spark something in you that's like, oh,
Paint your
I
face.
yeah, like, like, and just like
Yeah.
constantly kind of problem solve.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing is. That's most of
Yeah.
the creative approach, is literally problem solving. So if you enjoy challenging yourself, your work is only going to get better in any aspect. Even if you're a documentary style photographer or filmmaker, like, embracing issues is just like, and being like, no, I'm ready for a challenge. Sometimes take on a project that you're like, I don't know if I'm actually qualified for this. Like, see, you literally don't know what's going to happen. And more often than not, I was like, you'll be fine. You'll thrive. Like, especially if the client's coming to you for a particular type of work, just keep reminding yourself of, like, why you're here, why you're doing this, and that trust in the vision. If you have trust in the vision and the solutions, like, you're going to be just fine. But, like, you can't lose that wake up feeling every day of just like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's too many times, like, we always go back to what we did, before we started the company. And I was like, it just felt like we were doing unimportant things that literally just didn't mean anything. And now we're doing a job just like a bunch of people out there. It's just like, this has meaning. This has purpose. This is something that is going to be in people's lives for generations. It's a guarantee. It doesn't matter the caliber at which you're doing it. You could be doing this for a week or 15 years. Someone is holding on to the photos that you take, and it's their grandkids, their great-great-grandkids, 100, 200, 300 years from now, your photos will exist in their lives. It doesn't matter how color graded it is. Like, it just exists now. Now you can't undo what you have created.
Yeah.
So just like, take it day by day, and just like, never lose gratitude with
Yeah.
what you have kind of built. Because most of us, it's like, this is the dream, is to be professional photographers, be professional videographers, and like, don't let anything burn you out. It's especially with opinions of others, because if you can get a community of people that really do back and support, and especially and exclusively the client, if they're just saying like, no, I love your vision, I'm here for it, this is what we signed up for. Like, there's literally no better feeling in the entire
Yeah.
world. So you just have to literally always remind yourself of that. Like, you can do this. Don't let that stupid demon that is burnout ever get its grasps on you. Burnout is like I always say, it's like a luxury, getting burnt out. I don't have time to get burnt out. There's none of that. It's just like,
Mhm.
just keep going.
Yeah.
You don't want to make marketing material? Too bad. Because if you don't, then the person who's at year one, who's hungry as hell, they're coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like,
Do it.
you got to keep that dog inside.
Yeah. That dog.
I love you guys already. This is incredible. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. Seriously, I cannot wait to bump into you all again. Man, I'm going to have so many clips to cut for you all, so many good little nuggets to send your way. Follow these two over at Oak and Iron Photo. That's the best place for people to kind of follow along, see your work.
That's a bulk majority. We've kind of been compiling a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, more about just like our everyday travel stuff, tattoo, adventure, food stuff over at Oak and Iron World on
Okay.
YouTube. That's been like a big thing that we've been doing to also kind of just like keep things
Have fun.
excited and
Yeah.
just record all of this stuff. We're always documenting things for everyone else, so it's our way to kind of do a little bit of stuff for us, and our nephews get to see the antics that their aunt and uncle are up to. We like to have a good time over there. We're finally kind of coming into our own there. Not a lot of followers on there by design. I literally do not market it at all, just because we just wanted to
figure it out.
We just like to have fun with it and have like zero pressure. But yeah, Oak and Iron Photo on IG, Oak and Iron World on YouTube, and I guess I did just make a TikTok for that, but I also have another. It's all over the place. Pastrami on Rye on TikTok is also where you can find a bulk majority of our stuff.
Okay. I'm all for it. Well, all I can say is thank you. My audience says thank you for being on. I really appreciate it, and we did it. We podcasted.
Yes, thank you for having us. This was
of course.
awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just like to try to tee it up and let you try to knock it out of the park, and you did it. So,
can I also call you Johnny Buns from now on?
You can, and people
thank
have.
God. I've been calling you Johnny Buns all day. I was
All
like, dude.
It's like, I can't wait to meet Johnny
I said
Buns.
I would trust Johnny Buns with my life.
You know what? A lot of people do, and they're right for doing.
They should.
No. Man, this is awesome. You guys' work is so good. I don't know. I'm not just like blowing smoke up your butt. But man, it just reminds me of, I've been doing, like, I went to a couple of seminars, Mystic Seminar in Oregon, like 15 years ago. And it was just like this vibe, and that has just gone away a lot with people. It's just gotten all the same. People, like, I don't want people to see your photos and be like, oh, I'm going to try to replicate that. Like, I feel like that's what Instagram did to photo. Yeah. Just like, oh, that's what we do now. And I'm just like, okay, Minions walking this way. And then it's like, no, like, and I'm guilty. I've done that with the videos and the photos. And it's like over the last, I don't know, 8 or so years, it's just been like, no, I'm making stuff that I want to make. I'm confident enough. It took that long for me just to be confident in myself. So I think that watching you all together, I mean, having each other, you know, the 1-2 punch, that's awesome.
We were so excited. We love your stuff. And, you're kicking ass out there. So we're just glad to be a part of what you got going on.
Well, thank you. Well, consider yourself having a friend in Oklahoma now. So if you're ever in the area, come on over. I'm in Florida a little bit. I'll look you up in the yellow pages.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, you can find us in seedy alleyways.
Yeah.
Just doing this.
Yeah. That's my vibe too, if you can't tell.
Love it.
I don't know the last time I was in an alley. Think like 2004 on accident.
We were there yesterday.
Yeah.
We're always by the bins.
Yeah. There they are by the alley, the bins, with a pastrami on rye, I guess. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. We're excited.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Hey, don't be a stranger.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I will reach out. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Awesome. Later, bud.
We podcasted. We did it. Thank you all again for being on. Wow. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you follow them. I hope you go over to their Pastrami on Rye on TikTok. I hope you go over to Oak and Iron World on YouTube and follow them on Instagram. Whether or not you want to do something as artistic and crazy, I'm inspired as a filmmaker, as a photographer, as a creative to really lean into the curiosity that they were talking about. And I hope you are too. And I hope this helps you shift your focus, because I think so many of us get in a rut, we get stuck, and we have these first world problems where we're tired and we have to market. And just like Kyle was saying, I think this episode was needed. I really do. I think that I needed to hear this episode, and my soul is warmed and excited because of this episode. And I just want to say thank you to the two of them for being here, and thank you to the listeners. Also, thank you to the sponsors that support our show, all the different companies that have supported me so I can bring you content like this. This is why I do it, because I think things like this, conversations like this need to happen, and I cannot wait to continue to bring you more on this subject, on these subjects. If you're watching online and there's a like button or subscribe, please hit those. And if there's a spot to share, do me a favor, share this with one person. If you share this with one person, hear me out, I will double my audience. And if those people share it with one person, I don't even know how to do the math. It's that good. But seriously, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a good day. And until next time, I'll see ya. How much time do you waste chasing down contracts, invoices, or trying to keep all of those client details organized? As wedding pros, we waste so much time, and that is where Inly comes in. It's simple, beautiful, and actually made for creatives. With Inly, you can send polished proposals and contracts, manage invoices, set up forms, and capture leads. And the best part, it's all in one dashboard. No confusing dashboards, no bloated features you'll never use, just a CRM that works with your business, not against it. Check out Inly.com and try it for yourself. And don't forget to check the show notes and use promo code JOHN for 10% off. Check out Inly today. Head over to the show notes and go to INLY.com. That's Inly.com today.